Hey guys! So it's another installment of Fanged Pipsqueak Reads, and I'm here with another review. Amazing! I managed to finish another book, despite my busy hours. Seriously, guys, I hate it. So fucking busy. Anyway, before we start, I want to give you the answer to the pub quiz question that I put out during my Junji Ito video. So I asked how many Japanese Ring movies have been made, and I don't think any of you had the answer for that, but there have been 8 films made in Japan. Only in Japan. I know there's been so many other stuff made through the Ring franchise, but only 8. And I wonder if any of you have watched the entire 8 films. I know I've only seen the first one. And then, you know, the American remakes and stuff. But I haven't gone that far. I know everything about it, you know, thanks to Wikipedia, but I haven't gone that far to watch all of it. Maybe I should do it sometime. Maybe. But, on to the review. So, I read The Balance by Kev Harrison. My god, even my accent will destroy everyone's names. I'm really sorry. But this little novella is a little bit short, so of course I managed to finish it. It's kind of a modern reimagining of Baba Yaga, you know, the mythical folklore creature that you can see in Slavic folklore. Which is interesting. So I'm going to read the blurb for you guys, just so you get a picture of what the story is about. When myth becomes nightmare, the price of blood is always blood. Natalia's in trouble. She only looked away for a second, and now her brother's hurt. Her relationship with her mother is fractured. Her brother's condition is deteriorating, and her only hope lays deep in the unforgiving forest. A secret spoken only in whispers offers a way out. But when help comes in occult forms, a sacrifice may be the only way to restore the balance. So, I was kind of introduced to Kev Harrison when I read his story Warding, which is about, you know, a witch's revenge, basically. And I actually thought that the balance was going to be the same. So I was thrown completely by surprise that Baba Yaga actually turned out to be this kind elderly lady who lives, you know, deep in the forest near somewhere in Poland. And she's just, you know, she's in touch with nature and in touch with these forces that are older than Earth itself. And when Natalia's brother gets hurt, and medicine is scarce in that village because it happens in Cold War Poland, so, you know, they don't get that much medicine at that time, unfortunately. Natalia just thinks, you know, hey, I know there's a lady in the forest there, she might help us. Her mother, of course, being religious, you know, I think Catholic, I think that's the main, I think Catholicism is the main religion in Poland, strongly advise against it, and just hopes that the doctor will get the medicine in time, but, you know, by the time that this happens, Natalia brother's leg is like knee deep in pus and infection, and you're like, yeah, you might gonna have to amputate it. It's like, which is better, going to the witch in the woods or, you know, amputation? So she takes him there, and Baba Yaga greets them and just immediately goes and helps the kid, and she just concocts this, you know, really simple, how do you say, like a balm made out of cinnamon, honey, and peppermint. Like these 3 simple ingredients. And I don't know if you know, but honey is a really good antibacterial um, substance. It's really good to use against, if you have any kind of infection or like on wounds or something like that. And she uses it on his leg and tells Natalia to do that, to put the ointment on every single day, and tells her not to tell anyone that they came here, because they have to keep the balance, because Baba Yaga is pretty much sure that something will happen if she blabs about it. And it works. I mean, Natalia doesn't tell anyone, and but unfortunately her mother finds the ointment, and she tells the priest. And the priest calls on the bishop, and for some reason the bishop thinks that the best way to handle this situation is by burning the witch. Awesome. You really gotta love this kind of religious thing that happens here. I hate it. I hate it so much. So, yeah, they burn her. Well, Baba Yaga, she kind of willingly burns, like they burn her house. And she's like, well, if my house is burning, I'm connected to the house, I'm connected to the forest, I'm just gonna burn along with it. But she, of course, comes with this dire warning that if I burn and if my house burns and stuff, you will suffer the consequences. And they are like, witches saying something stupid shit. Oh boy, were they wrong. Like, a couple of days after that, the balance, like the forces, like the force spirit, or the I don't know, the spirit that is older than Earth itself, really pissed off and really lays it down on the village, especially on the people who burned the house and burned Baba Yaga. They attack some like feral dogs. They attack the farmer and brutally kill some of his pigs. And the church. Oh wow. I haven't explained to you what kind of horror this is. So this is basically eco horror, and this might be, I think, my first introduction when it comes to eco horror. Like I've seen the movie The Ruins. I mean, that's a really good eco horror movie. And Kev actually managed to portray the monstrosity of what happens if you disrupt nature. And I actually think that if this would be set in Iceland, for example, because we value nature a lot here, this would be really good. But what happened to the church is like, it was infested with insects. Like the walls and just everything inside the church was just like, I hate insects, and especially if there's like a swarm of them, like big huge cockroaches, which thankfully we don't have here in Iceland. Do you believe what I removed if it was here? Seriously, I'm so happy that I live here in Iceland, because we have so few insects, guys. We don't even have mosquitoes. So if you want to come, we welcome you. I hope, at least I will. But yeah, he and Natalia and her mother, they try to find where the priest is, because Natalia is certain that, something will happen to the priest. And they find him like way deep into the church, like in his bedroom and stuff. And he is infested with insects. Like they've already like covering him, and there are rats there as well. They're like nibbling on his flesh, and I think how Kev described it, like there was like piece here, like that was ripped off, and something here is in his throat and stuff. It was gruesome. It was like told like in a really subtle way, but even though it was like I just said, it was gruesome, but the gore itself was mellow enough to fit with the theme and the tone of the story, which I really liked, even though I do prefer my gore, because I tend to put a lot of that in my own stories. But it was really, really good, and I thought it was so funny. I laughed and I scoffed and I think I even snorted so loud, because when they managed to pull the priest out, and he starts to wonder, like, why is this happening? Why? And she's like, because you burned the witch because of this stupid ointment that really helped healing. And then, like, do you have still some of that ointment left? And she was like, yeah, well, we can make some. It's pretty easy. It's just 3 ingredients. And then he was like, oh, then could you please put some on me? If it's just 3 ingredients, and it's just really these ingredients that really helped, and I don't mind it be put on me. The hypocrisy. Seriously, guys. If I had been Natalia, I probably would have just left him to die. It's like, no, man, you denied this for my brother, and you burned a witch, burned a sweet old lady because of that, and now you want to use the same stuff because now it's supposed to help you? F you. But yeah, it was. I got angry. I really, really, really had to contain my anger. But yeah, let me just see if I can find the sorry, find the passage where what Kev describes. Oh yeah, there it is. I found it. So here's the passage from when they discover the priest inside the church. She stepped into the room and began to choke. Father Matthews was stretched out on the bed, a sea of oversized ants, beetles, and flying insects writhing and buzzing over his body. He tried to call out, but a wave of insects rushed into his mouth and down his throat, muffling the sound. I just get like this kind of like shudder thinking about, insects going into his mouth. Kind of reminded me of that scene. I don't know if you seen Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which is one of my favorite films. That's the insect scene when I can't remember her name. Like the female lead goes into the cave and is just infested with insects and they're all crawling all over her body. I can't. Ooh, it's nasty. And that scene reminded me of that, and I just like felt like something was crawling all over me. It's just not good. But so basically this forest spirit is always entering Natalia's dreams, or always visit her and gives her a choice. Basically tells her, like, you need to become the next Baba Yaga and the balance will be restored. However, there still need to be one more death. And of course the one who had instigated it all, her mother. So she has the choice of becoming Baba Yaga, but the price of that is that her mother has to die. So I wouldn't want to be Natalia in this situation. So during the entirety of the book, she is still like haunted with this kind of decision, but she still feels like she has time, and she managed to protect the ones who are supposed to die. But then the ending took me by complete surprise. I mean, I had an inkling that Natalia would in the end just take the offer because the spirit was focusing so much on her. But then it became someone else. Someone else became Baba Yaga. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't have a clue. And then I thought like, okay, then everything is gonna be on like a happy ending kind of thing. Ooh, Kev, I love it when you do that. No, the ending was pretty bleak. I'm not gonna spoil the ending, of course. You need to read Kev's book in order to see what happens. But I love a bleak ending. It comes with the genre, I think. Happy endings, I can only see that happening maybe in slasher movies. But when it comes to horror, I like this kind of bleak or bittersweet kind of ending. But I probably would have given the book 5 stars because the subtlety and the way he wrote it, like it's mellow through, but at the same time it's still enticing enough that you want to keep reading, like all the way to the end. But I noticed that there were a lot of like typos and spelling mistakes, and they kind of threw me off a little bit. And I felt like the ending was a little bit abrupt. It's like, bam, this happens, and then the end. It's like, kind of felt like they could have explored like the aftermath after this new person became Baba Yaga. But it fell a little bit short to me when it comes to ending. But it's still a fantastic book. I definitely recommend Kev's book if you want to read a little bit about how eco horror is treated and how basically you should treat nature with respect. And also, if you like how Baba Yaga is reimagined, definitely check out this book. But I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 stars. It's really good. Definitely recommend it. I will put a link down below. If you want to purchase his book, I'll put an Amazon link on it down below, so you can check it out. So this has been my review of The Balance. Hope you guys enjoyed. Before we leave, there's the pop quiz question. So today's question has to do with eco horror, and I mentioned this movie, The Ruins, but most of you probably didn't know it was actually based on a book. So you tell me, who was the author of The Ruins? So who is? I think he's still alive. So who is the author of The Ruins? Comment your answers down below and we'll see who gets the right answer. Until next time, this has been Vitleme from Fanged Pipsqueak Reads, and I hope you guys enjoyed my review. See ya!